Orgless are also a very strong Villa team, so this one's going to be interesting.
Yeah, like the analyst desk has said, nobody has banned both Villa and Cafe at the same time against this team. And again, like CJ highlighted, OCG banned this map against Okami. They didn't want to bring Okami here. Okami, later in the season, lost this map 7-4 to Orgless. So why would you bring Orgless to Villa? I don't know, but hopefully Devel and the rest of his team has something cooked up. The first two bans are Thatcher and Nomad. Now, what's interesting about these bans in particular is not necessarily the bans themselves, but who is banning them. Orgless has just banned Prod's main. Prod is an extremely proficient Nomad, which makes me think he is going to be running the Zero all map, and he is a very damn good Zero as well. So hopefully OCG know how to play around that. Mira, another, pretty common ban. And here, from what we've seen on Orgless's Villa, if OCG don't ban Cade, Prod's Cade is left up, and we have seen that man do magical things on Cade. Who starts on defense? All right, OCG starts on defense. So it'll be a while before we actually see that, but now we do get to see what is Prod going to play. Oh, wait, Prod's on IQ. Oh, well, okay, that makes sense, because Valkyrie is left up.
All right. So an interesting turn of events with the IQ is no more. Looks like we'll be switching off to the Jackal. We've seen a lot of Jackal tonight. Not a lot of productive Jackal work, but we've seen a lot of Jackal work. That is for sure. So I'm sure Prod will come up with something to make this Spanish operator considerably more useful. But it comes down to less of how the attackers use the Jackal, because everyone knows how to use a Jackal. It really comes down to how the defense sets up their site, and if they want to roam, how heavily they want to roam. And that's really the determining factor of if a Jackal is going to be useful at all. Because if all 5 defenders are just happy to sit on the site and do their thing in trophy and statuary, Prod's going to have a less than easy time using that gadget of his. But it does seem that we are going to see the OCG extension. You've got Bone GXD setting up this side of the map, the south. Trophy and statuary the site, but extending all the way to Aviator and Games. Zoinkers as well will be prepping this side of the map. The only question remains, do Orgless want to actually churn their way through this? And yes, considering they have the Jackal, considering this is the strong team and they are an aggressive team, they're going to go through this and they will be happy to walk into this setup. But OCG are ready for that. They set up those Mozzie pests. They've got enough utility here to delay it. Bone nearly losing his life there. But so far, this is what we're going to have to pay attention to. How quickly Orgless can get this clear going, and if OCG can either get a couple of kills or at least back on off unscathed.
This is something we saw from OCG even in the last season. Was playing very aggressively over towards Study, but Orgless are quick in. Baring is going to take the first engagement, and he will be finished off by none other than GXD, holding down Games. So maybe not adequate intel being gathered by the attackers there, but there will be an equalizer. Nova goes down, so it's a 1-for-1, but there's another one for OCG. It's a one-man advantage as now the AVG roam has been dealt with and fallen off.
Well, the young Alec, next player to contest this, assisted by Prod, who's now on the red stairs, trying to get this crossfire in through the 90 hallway, but nobody is there anymore. Everyone on OCG has backed off to the site itself, smartly so, considering they have this advantage. They have got the time to play with, and they know that Orgless are likely going to be struggling a little bit here. Young Alec looking to challenge on this, but nobody exposing themselves to him just yet, so a little bit of intel. Never hurt nobody. But you're going to have to wait till the rest of the team comes here and supports, because right now, Orgless, they don't have many options. All 3 players bunched up in a similar position. You're going to have to rotate somebody around. I imagine that's Oasis. You've got the hard breach. You want to get open that master wall if possible, but when you're down a man like this, you're faced with a couple of challenging decisions, and Prod making the first one, making that rotation all the way over towards this master side. He's going to have to deal with Zoinkers, the player who could at any time jump out this closet window and get a bit aggressive as well.
There's only 35 seconds for Orgless to play with. Where is Prod and his team going to entry in from? Here's the walk-in closet pressure, but Prod, does he know that the player is still inside of Master? There's the Jackal ping. They've now identified him, but through the smoke, he's able to get away, at least for now. Here comes the repeat. The Jackal track still coming up, but Prod cannot pin this Aruni down. Zoinkers does die, but it wastes about 20 seconds. Oasis now attempting to get this plant down. Young Alec is there for cover, but he's taken down by Devil. Oasis gets the refrag onto Bone. Now it's Prod and Oasis against Devil and GXD. Another plant attempt coming through. Prod with a nice shot, and a second for Prod. What a play by the Jackal. A 3K coming in from the closet and saving the round for Orgless.
Prod going huge there, just not only saving the round, winning the round out of nowhere. I mean, getting that kill onto the Aruni, that was huge. That was the entry point in the round, and that really allowed that Orgless attack to free up, and it gave them the chance to push on in through that statuary door. They would not have dared attempt that if they knew someone was still in Master, and that was a 1v1. It was Prod against one for the round, pretty much. Had Prod lost that fight, there's no shot that I think Orgless could have gotten that done. You would have had a player sitting in Master holding the statuary run-in, and that's simply going to be an impossible crossfire. Had Prod taken another 10 seconds, had Prod let the Aruni escape and get back to the site, again, that is a very different round you're going to see play out. But no, Prod winning it, and then clutching it up, and getting the coverage, getting those final 2 kills. Stellar performance from him, stellar performance from those last few players on Orgless just to maintain their composure in that 3v4 situation. And OCG, despite the advantage, this is something we've said quite a few times, despite the advantage, they will end up losing the round when it came down to the wire. So they're going to pivot, they're going to head to Aviator in games and hope that pulling out a clash will help them find some success.
I hate that we say that so much, man. OCG, please. Close out your rounds, man. Please. I guess they were just no match for Prod.Big. Now they're on AVG. We've got some folks extended over towards the statuary side of things. One will be Jackal tracked, so now they have hard info on one of them. And they will start to fall back with Devil pushing up as the clash to assist this rotate. We should see how they play around this clash, whether it will be like the old EG strat where they play inside the classical hall, one that Gotcha actually played in when he was subbing in for EG, or if they'll rotate him inside the site itself to try and hold off the oncoming execute. Either way, Orgless are now hunting for downstairs players, of which there are 2. They've gone from statue all the way to living, and the Jackal can smell that something is afoot. There's 2 players for him to find. He'll peek one. Excellent headshot onto Nova. Good night to the Mute looking for the second. He'll see the footprints, but can't react in time to the swinging Malusi. So it'll be a 1-for-1, but still losing your Jackal after getting a kill, and the kill he got was a C4 op? That is not bad for the attack at all.
You do lose Prod, though, so you're going to have the rest of this team step up in the fragging department, but as we know, that is something every player on Orgless can do at a moment's notice. For now, they're going to finish this clear. Now that they've at least know what they're dealing with downstairs, they're going to decide to leave the Malusi alone. Zoinkers is going to be allowed to hang out down there, and they're going to just continue to build the pressure on the second floor itself. Devil standing in their way, now a literal brick wall between them and the site, and a brick wall that's providing a lot of intel to this defensive team. A couple of stuns hoping to free up this position, but Devil will remain stalwart. A nade not doing enough either. Again, another stun, but that's going to be the second and the final stun used, and Devil is still up in this fight with enough HP to take at least a bullet or 2 more. Young Alec attempting to throw a grenade, or at least baiting or waiting for a teammate, but it's in fact Zoinkers who gets a kill onto Barring, who is rotating down below. The player that Prod left alive, apparently not focusing on Zoinkers, has been a serious problem, but oh my goodness, the timing, and Gotcha is gonna barely miss that opportunity. In the meantime, Oasis and GXD will go 1 for 1, and Orgless continue this terror on the back foot. 20 seconds remaining, and they need to get something going, but the final toxic canister will be a serious problem for the hopes of this execute. Gotcha hoping to pull this one back by rotating around, but a deployable shield still in place, and the diffuser dropped, and the last frag found. OCG, they clean up their act, and they'll take round 2.
Well played by OCG. Starting with that offsite presence, I thought that it wasn't going to go very well for them, but it ended up going 1 for 1. So you kill Prod, everyone else from Orgless is left upstairs, and they never really deal with this Melusi. So later in the round, as Devil is busy delaying the push for a decent bit, I mean, sure, he eventually gets taken out, but, you know, his work was done. He delayed so much time. Zoinkers gets a second kill. Gotcha is distracted. And sure, Oasis gets one, but he never actually hunts down the Melusi. And by then, it's a 2 versus 3. OCG have the man advantage. Orgless have just no time to play with. It's another case of stalling out, and it was thanks to that clash. So big ups to Devil in that round. Even though he died, again, the work was still done, and he trusted his teammates. His teammates ended up coming away with the win. So, first round for OCG. Now we'll go on to Dining. They do not wish to attempt Trophy again, at least not for now, but they will hold men up there because, well, that's just kind of how you have to defend this site. They're bringing Bone on Legion, though, an operator we don't often see all that much anymore. After his recent nerf, people like Melusi, Aruni, Castle, operators like that are just, they tend to be better, but they are bringing both him and the Aruni, so there's plenty of info, plenty of delay power now in their hands, in addition to the Frost that Devil is bringing. But on a Dining defense, I'm not quite sure where he's put those mats.
Yeah, the Frost is something generally more reserved for the second floor, and that's very probable that's actually where we see those Frost mats placed. Could be on those master window jump-ins or something over in that closet area, but right now, you can see one that's pretty standard, and you've also got one behind the couch for a possible default plant, so pretty good spot so far. You get that last one put down, possibly behind that deployable shield. It's actually going to be on the jump in from the red stairs, so at least we've got a good idea of where that's placed, but doesn't really matter for the life of Zoinkers, who is already going to be removed, barring with the opening frag for Orgless, and that is a great way to start. But as we've seen, the opening frag isn't everything, because Orgless was able to secure it in the last round, but was unable to close it out. Well, now that's 2, as Barring gets a double kill on the entry. Not exactly sure what Devil was busy challenging, but this top floor hold is not looking too great. Well, not that it's being dismantled by Orgless, but by the fact that OCG are now forced to rotate back around, given that the first floor presence is being chewed apart.
Yeah, unfortunately, Devil, who is he was peeking the painting, was caught off guard, or rather, he did not catch Barring off guard. Luckily for the defense, Bone is still upstairs, and he was able to impact away all of those Hibana pellets, but Nova gets taken out from outside the painting window thanks to Gotcha, who was positioned there earlier. Bone gets a refrag dropping down the laundry hatch, and Barring has been downed, making this a 2 versus 3. It's up to Bone and GXD, the new pickups, to try and clutch this out. Bone gets another one on a young Alec. Oasis has been finished off. It's a triple kill for him. It's a 2 versus 1, all up to Prod, as his teammate is actually caught in a bear trap. So whether or not he'll go for the pickup, he end up will, so Barring low HP, but still another gun on the board. Even man count, 45 seconds left. Prod will decide to push through laundry, but there is, I believe, an Aruni gate standing in his way. He does have a smoke to clear it, but as soon as it goes down, the defenders are going to know exactly where this push is coming from. He'll Jackal track Bone, the Legion, and he'll decide to go back through the painting, as Barring has now positioned himself in the basement, maybe coming up through pantry stairs. They're very separated. They can't really play for trade. And as the barricade goes down, they know exactly where Barring is coming from. Bone gets a quad kill as he finishes off Prod. Now it's just Barring. Is Bone going to be able to get the ace? All he needs to do is land one bullet on the Zofia. As Barring pops up, there it is. Bone with an ace. Finally, the star showing just how good he is, and OCG come away with their second round.
Yeah, this time we find ourselves saying it is Orgless who, despite the advantage, cannot pull out the round, and a good advantage at that. It was a 5v3 for most of that round, and Orgless just not able to close out those ones or really commit to much of a push. It looks like there was a moment or two where they got a little bit complacent, and rather than grouping up and pushing as a team and deciding on one cohesive execute, they played as individuals. We saw pretty isolated attackers getting fragged out one by one. Of course, Bone doing all the work, but it wasn't like Bone was in a position like that wasn't just a fluke of an ace where OCG are riding on the back of one player. That was Orgless kind of digging themselves into an unusually deep hole, just gunfight after gunfight. And surprising, considering they were the ones towering above OCG to start off that round. 2 entry frags go their way, and it just slowly falls apart. Speaks to OCG and their competence on this map and their competence as a team. When they do play together, they struggle with it to actually get to that point. But when they do, this is the kind of outcome you can expect. There was a really good job between those last 2 players to just hold down that site and take care of the rest of Orgless, something that, as everyone will tell you, is not easy to do.
Well, OCG are in the lead. Only time will tell whether or not they will be able to sustain it. We'll go back on to Trophy, the site that they lost initially, thanks to a huge heads-up play by Prod.Big. Seems like Orgless, though, instead of clearing over towards the study side, will start in Master. There are people towards study, I believe, that can be cleared, but Orgless are opting to just ignore it, figuring, hey, we just get bathroom, we claim Master as our own, open the wall, maybe work Astro. That's going to be enough for us. We do not want to be losing bodies to that hold yet again that OCG has been doing for 2 seasons now. They're very proficient at it. You know, we did criticize them for bringing Orgless to Villa. We have seen it, you know, it's kind of their best map. And wow! Devil is going to slam Gotcha off the angle. That'll give the first pick to Orgless, or sorry, the first pick to OCG, and knock a set of nades off from Orgless.
Yeah, another situation where we're seeing the Jackal scanning happening. In this case, it was on to Devil, and seeing the fact that it's not really being used much at all. Nobody playing below quick enough to get that kill. No nade in a position to do much work. Young Alec not nearby in the right position to capitalize on that. So right now, it's a progressive and pretty slow intel game for Orgless, and that's where they're having a little bit of trouble. Only a minute remaining, and they haven't gotten a lot done. Finally, we're hearing the X-Kairos detonate on that master wall, so now they've got a good bit of progress to speak of, but still a bit of utility and 5 players to clear out. Prod trying to scan a couple more footsteps to just figure out what they're dealing with on the site itself. Another scan will come up with something, but not a lot of intel to actually act on. Both Barring and Young Alec not in the right position to capitalize on that, instead pushing up Astro stairs and clearing their way through. Prod's kill will free up this site and allow Alec to get a good advantage into Trophy. Claiming 1, now looking for a second. That's a successful double kill. Zoinkers gets one onto Barring in the meantime, but now 3 for Young Alec as he looks for the 4th, and there it is. GXG walks right on into Young Alec's crosshairs, and a quad kill for the Yana will give Orgless the round.
Alec is just unstoppable, man. Orgless, this time instead of clearing over towards study, like we said, it was a master side take, and it worked wonders. The entry into master. Barring is down below. He takes care of the Electro Claw, ensures that the wall will not be tricked, and Oasis has an easy time breaching. Prod gets the opener after Gotcha died. So, it's even 44. And then, what happens? The wall is being opened, and simultaneously, for whatever reason, after Devil died, no one on the defense retook Astro. That means it's just free for Barring and Alec to work their way up through. There's nothing stopping Alec from going for them rotate, as after he landed that really nice shot onto the guy Boar, just crouch walks through, kills the Rooney swinging for the refrag after he killed Barring, And that was pretty much the round. Already a huge man advantage for Orgless, and just a cherry on top was Alec finding Bone, not looking at him, and just waiting for GXD to walk through the double. Incredible play by the Iana. That is what we expect from Alec. He had not gotten a kill before that. What an explosive way to finally get on the scoreboard. So, back to even. 2-2. Unfortunately, OCG just not able to make Trophy happen. But luckily for them, they don't have to go to Trophy anymore. They'll go back to AVG, where it was a successful clash hold that stalled out Orgless long enough, and OCG will be doing it once again.
We'll see how Orgless want to deal with it this time. I doubt we're going to see Prod on the solo entry roam clear, because it did get a kill, but it didn't end up working out in their favor at the end. When everything was said and done, losing one of your big guns and only going 1 for 1. You're not going to want to let one of these players go unnoticed. That's what happened last time, and Orgless, just looking at all the drone work they're trying to put down right now, they're really trying to remedy that this time around. They still have a clash to deal with, the same problem they had last time, but the clash right now playing on the top of the main stairs rather than facing the red staircase instead. Nice nade from Gotcha, and actually a perfect nade from young Alec as well. The combination with that pressure is going to result in the death of Devil, and that is a huge kill to get on the board. Thankfully, Bone acts quick, decisively to get the kill onto young Alec, answering right back and keeping us even at 4.
Yeah, that is a fantastic opener for Orgless, though. And the 1 for 1 only works in the attacker's favor. The Malusi will fall back to sight. Prod seeing footsteps all over the place, and he ends up tracking the mute of Nova. Where is he? Oh, well, he's on the side, so that doesn't really matter. A different pair of footsteps will reveal the Malusi, but Prod already saw her cross, so that's not too much new info. And Nova, the mute who was tracked earlier, gets the pick on the Gotcha. It's a double kill for Nova. Now Prod searching for the refrag, but he whiffs! Nova gets a 3rd and a 4th for Nova! The mute goes huge! OCG, despite losing the pin of their strat earlier, that clash, Nova still gets 4, and the round goes the way of the defense.
Wow, I mean, this is now 3 rounds in a row. Ace, quad kill, quad kill. That's something.
Yep.
This is an explosive game so far, and one that, surprisingly so, OCG remains on top. Villa defense is not as strong as it used to be, as attacking teams have gotten this map down pat, and so OCG are sitting pretty with 3 rounds, and looking for that 4th. That's exactly the way to make a statement against a team like Orgless. They are going to head over to Trophy and Statuary to do so, a site that went Orgless's way the first time around, and in fact, the second time around as well. So OCG, a bold move here, and quite a lot of adjustments to make, but same thing goes for Orgless. That last round leaves a bit to be desired, all feeding kills to one singular player, playing on that studied doorway.
It's funny, too. The 4K we saw from Alec was his first 4 kills, and that 4K was Nova's first 4 as well. So,
wow.
2 of the star fraggers for either team, making their impact known for the first time. In a very explosive way. But now we're back to Trophy. So I said OCG, they didn't have to worry about this site anymore after losing it twice. They could have gone dining, but I understand why they didn't go there. They lost the first 2 picks. It wasn't going well, and really the only reason they were able to win it is because Bone happens to be a demon on the T5 and aced. It's pretty hard to lose the round if someone aces. So they figure, hey, an ace like that, an ace is already a rare enough occurrence as it is. It's one of the most uncommon things to happen in this game in general. And we can't rely upon that. So let's go back to Trophy. All we have to do now is, well, not let young Alec crouch walk into the site and get 4.
Well, he won't be crouching into the site right now. He'll be creeping up the classical hall, and Nova will fall victim to a Claymore. A beautiful Claymore from Prod. I'm not sure if that was a jump out or simply just a rotation elsewhere, but
that was the drone hole Claymore we saw him set up.
Oh, wow. I mean, there it is. That's even more. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. And getting the heads of your opponents here, Gotcha, will get the head of GXD. So that's 2 kills that go Orgless's way. And Bone is playing aggressive, trying to answer back, but everyone on the site is getting melted away. That's 3 players now gone. Bone and Devil left alone, and the trophy and statuary attempt not looking too good for OCG. Orgless won this site twice, now looking to win it a 3rd time. Bone hoping to get some sort of miracle flank to pull this one back. Devil, the last player on site against an onslaught of Orgless defenders, attackers rather, will not last much longer. Bone gets 1, but that's going to be it as young Alec wraps up a nice double kill with a bow and finishes off the round, finishes off the half as well. We're tied at 3-3 going into the second half.
Yeah, OCG there were just getting cut down by cut-offs. Orgless made their entry through on the study side. They got that opening Claymore onto Nova, first of all, which wasn't even part of the clear. We actually saw, earlier in the round when we saw the Claymore being placed on the drone hole, Nova was like right around the corner on a cam. So I assume he just got off the cam, walked around the corner, hit the drone hole, and died. So that was a little bit unfortunate for Nova. But otherwise, as the defenders started to fall back from their study room and their 90, Gotcha was on the rappel, finding 1. Okay, you know, whatever. He just caught the defenders off guard. How is he able to get 2 there? Gotcha should not have been able to kill Zoinkers after getting GXD. That, you just can't be exposing yourself to that 90 window like that, man. And that leaves it all up to Devil and Bone. Bone says, I gotta hit a lick. It's the only chance in the round. But while he does so, unfortunately, he just takes a little bit too long. Devil gets overwhelmed on the site. So, it's a 3-3 half. Villa, not as defender-sided as it used to be. You highlighted that on our earlier Villa game. So, you know, it's not the end of the world for either of these teams that it's an even split. It is still winnable for both OCG and Orgless. We're going to start Orgless's half off on AVG with a very similar clash hold.
Yeah, putting Gotcha on that role here, who will, for now, be hanging out in study, just trying to get as much forward intel as possible. But Orgless will soon realize that the OCG attacking presence is going for this full clear. Wow. That is a great shot from young Alec. I was about to comment on the lack of a real setup on this side, but the presence of one individual roamer. A roamer who now gets 8 kills with a beautiful shot onto Nova, removing the Zofia from play. That is exactly what you're looking to do if you're Orgless, stopping the attack before it can even begin. The next step standing in OCG's way are these players lurking below in living room and library. Prod hanging out down there right now, a C4 in hand, so the perfect instrument to deny the plant later in this game. Well, young Alec is going to just keep fragging out in the meantime. He'll say goodnight to GXD. Prod, however, won't be able to survive much longer as Bone will go all the way through into that first floor and deal with the Goyo. But now we'll have to turn his attention towards the red stairs as he knows there's a player lurking nearby.
He'll do away with the barbed wire, but that will just prompt young Alec to push down, and it ends up being an unwise decision. Bone, covering his own back, finds his 10th kill and equalizes man count. Now, it is equal, but there is a clash on the board, so really it is -1 gun for Orgless plus 1 massive, indestructible source of info. And if this clash is not dealt with, at least not soon, this could be troubling for Orgless. But oh, Gotcha's going to get significantly damaged, I believe, by a Goyo shield blowing up in his face. And if Bone can just land a close enough nade, Gotcha will go down. But that requires him to get up, the ADSs to be cleared, and Bone to be in position to capitalize. But right now, he's just holding 90, and Iana droning out. The call needs to come from his team to help clear this clash, because there's only 40 seconds left, and as the round progresses, this clash is only going to get stronger. But do they know that he's such low HP? Bone is not pulling out the nades, and that makes me think not. They're not even trying to do anything from below. They're just face-checking this clash, waiting for someone to peek behind her, but finally, the nade will come out. Is it enough? No, it goes way too far and only does a sliver of damage to Gotcha. This Nade needs to find its mark. It is going to get the kill, but meanwhile, Baring gets the trade. The shotgun will whiff, but no, Devil re-engages. Bone's able to get a quad. He'll have to get his second ace of the game if he wants to win, and it's up against Baring. He'll check the angle, see the Jaeger peek just for a second, but he can't land the head. The second ace will be denied. 4 kills is not enough for Bone, and Baring clutches the round.
OCG really trying to rely on these individual plays, and while they've worked a handful of times, it's not going to work in round number 7. Orgless persisting, barely making it through that round, but the clash setup wasting enough time to allow those defenders to sit back and watch the attackers walk into their open arms. A really good effort from OCG, I've got to say. It was really looking like that attack was going to be successful. Couldn't help myself but kind of root for the Clash to die in that situation, because I hate dealing with a Clash as an attacking team, and I think they dealt with it very well. But when it came down to it, they could not get the job done, could not get that plant down. The player on the vault door really wasn't that effective as a defender there, but it did stall a little bit of time. You got 1 kill with it, and that little bit of damage, that little bit of impact, just in those last few moments, every single thing matters more than the entire round. That's why you said, Harrison, the Clash is getting more powerful by the minute, because every second, every half a second matters when you are coming down to those 10-second executes. And Orgless, while they didn't thrive in that situation, they certainly survived a bit better than OCG could. They'll claim Aviator in games as their own. Moving on now to Trophy and Statuary, but committing quite a bit to this bottom floor hold.
Yeah, I also gotta, oh man, about that last round. Devil! Devil, why'd you repeak? The first shotgun blast from Oasis whiffed. But Devil did not trust Bone enough. That's one of those situations where if you know there's a shotgun around the corner, I mean, Bone was already in. He could have just gone for the plant, but he didn't. He re-engaged the shotgun and died, and that put Bone in the unfortunate position that he was in. If Devil had just stuck it, Bone would have probably gotten the kill anyway, and that round may have gone a different way. But I digress. The Jaeger and the IQ will, just kind of look at each other a bunch, but nothing will really happen. Bone is searching for the Goyo of Gotcha. The wall has been opened, and Gotcha gets killed on the fallback, but Baring is very close behind to get the trade. So, although Gotcha's dead, you take out the top performer from OCG, and Bone, in fact, the only positive player right now on the board. So without that Iana, somebody else on this squad is going to have to step up to compensate, and that might just be GXD. Brilliant shot onto Baring to shut him down and retain the man advantage for the attack.
Yeah, that's a good heads-up play there to make that one happen from GXD, shutting down Baring, who got a little bit greedy holding downstairs, but Prod, holding it from above this time, will claim the life of yet another attacker. That's Zoinkers, who will be no longer for this round, and that's going to remove the last remaining set of nades and the last remaining set of reliable vertical destruction that OCG had in their pocket. That means that all of this control that they've secured of Kitchen means relatively nothing. Now you have to still work your way to this top floor, and you can't really use much vertical play to help you. You're going to have to just hope that maybe a Jackal track from GXD can give you enough intel to get a wall bang, get a floor bang, get something going for your team, because with 50 seconds left, Orgless are starting to get the time waste game going. Oasis burning one of those toxic gas canisters, 2 remaining to still use. Now 1, as the second one will be burned towards this bathroom side. Young Alec is going to take quite a bit of damage during that process as he holds here close on the brick door. C4 going out will not connect with anybody, and now here comes a flank from Nova. Perfectly timed, but Oasis is there to respond. Nova now needing to support Devil, who has the bomb in hand and needs to get on the site itself. There it goes, the plant going down now. Oasis on the retake, sprinting into site, not looking for the coverage. Prod, last man standing, will successfully down Devil in the process and finish him off, but in the post plant, Prod now has to go for this diffuser. Nova is positioned in the perfect place to cover this diffuser, but has to make sure that he doesn't allow Prod to retake far enough. Prod will tease this, consider sticking, No, he will. Oh, he could have had that there because the fire was holding him off, but Prod with an excellent shot onto Nova, a triple kill, and finishing out a round that he could have won probably either way. The fire blocking off the IQ, and that is a great way to play the post plant.
Wow, what a play from Prod. When he came off the defuse, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I thought that was the round loss. I was like, why?
Yeah, that was massive.
Why did he do that? And then he just swung and won the fight anyway. Wow. Prod on the Kaid is unstoppable. Between him and young Alec, Orgless have now put a 2-round lead up on the board. A great try from Nova towards the end, but it was not to be. He just lost the fight. And OCG, they started off strong. They really did. But again, AVG couldn't close it out. Trophy, they had the plant down, couldn't close it out. We're getting, shades of what we've seen this whole stage thus far. Are they going to allow Orgless to 6 points? Well, they'll have to successfully attack Dining to do so, but look at how much C4 there is. One from Prod, Oasis, and Barring each, with Gotcha playing on the Ella, and young Alec on his favorite Aruni, an operator that he has absolutely torn teams apart with. Both he and Prod currently on 9 kills apiece. It's going to be tough for OCG, but, I still believe. I'm not counting them out just yet. But if they want to be successful, we're going to have to see more than just Bone consistently getting these kills.
13, I mean, Bone is really playing well right now, but yeah, we're going to need the rest of OCG to step it up because Nova is the only player, is the closest player to Bone's frags with 6 on that other entry roll, but still not able to go positive here. Orgless as well, they're struggling in the kill department in a good bit of ways, but it's young Alec leading the fray with Prod not too far behind, actually dead tied with the Aruni. But it seems that Nova wants to mix things up, wants to find some more kills, and is playing rather aggressive on the entry, nearly spotting out Gotcha, who retreated just in time behind the 90 Hall. Little did Nova know, but young Alec is also lurking nearby. A moment ago was in Aviator, now creeped up in Study to contest anyone pushing up the main stairs, but now OCG are the ones who switch things around. They're playing a little bit more horizontal on this clear, not forcing this top floor, instead going directly for library and living room, where you now have 2 players positioned. Bone, nade in hand, perfectly tossed towards Prod. Not sure if he heard that down, but that should give them full control of this first floor if they take it successfully.
Nova gets a different kill, and that's Oasis. That is the Pulse dead. 2 really big picks for the attack so far. I think Bone just saw that Prod was down, so they know that. Oh no, actually they've got no clue where he is. Oh, all right. Doesn't matter though, because even though Prod is likely calling out info to his team, Sorger still gets a kill. Gotcha from behind finally picks off 1 and 2. An incredible flank from the Ella. Prod might actually be recoverable because the attackers just never did anything about him, and he is. What could be a one-man advantage ends up being an even game as Devil and Barring trade headshots on the site. Nova and GXD against Prod and Gotcha, but site control in the hands of the attack, and Plant going down Tetris. There's the retake from the defense. They're coming through. GXD is currently off the site. He'll hit an Elamine as Nova gets off the plant and back on it. Prod no longer has a C4 to play with, so they can't directly deny this. They'll have to walk into GXD's cover, as now we're in the post plant. Shot in the back. GXD nearly goes down, but still wins out. But Gotcha gets a third. It's 1 HP. GXD against the rate of fire of the Scorpion, and he can't win it out. A quad kill for Gotcha. Brilliant play and a brilliant flank on the Ella, and that'll put Orgless on their 6th point.
Now you look at a small mistake like leaving Prod alive. That is why the round was lost from OCG. Now, if you think about that situation again, what 2 players were pushing in living room and library? It was the Yana and it was the Sledge. Do you know what players Gotcha was able to kill on that flank?
Yep.
It was the Yana and the Sledge.
Let me guess. Oh, man.
Sorry, I ruined that bit for you.
I wanted to guess. I need points.
But the point is, Prod called that out. Prod called exactly where they were. He said, gotcha. You know what? They've got no idea where you're coming from. They're both tunnel visioned here on Mudroom, swinging on towards jungle and the site itself. Get this flank in now. He did. He got the 2 kills. Props to Gotcha for making it happen, but props to Prod with the heads-up play to just tuck in that corner, behind, underneath the cabinet even, just calling out that position to his teammate and just getting the job done. That is a great way to recover a round that was slipping very quickly away from Orgless. OCG had what looked like a 5v2 because Prod was down and only 2 players were left. But Gotcha, leaving 1 player alone on the site was a dangerous move, but OCG, they didn't quite identify that, and Gotcha gets that double kill, gets the revive, and just comes up massive in the end, and that is another 4K in a series that has now seen 4 quad kills, 2 triple kills, and an ace. This is an explosive game that Orgless is now running ahead, a 3-round lead in match point.
And it's again OCG being unable to close out. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, you know, they get an advantage and they get ahead of themselves, whether they get flustered, maybe confused, panic, or whatnot. But the only thing that's consistent about OCG is how inconsistent they are. And it's really sad to see, because they are good. They keep getting these advantages. We know they can do it. It's those little minor itty-bitty steps, like Bone Ianaing in and just not looking far enough to the right, even though he naded the guy. Little things like that end up putting him in the dirt. Now, Prod will be downed inside the site thanks to some floor holes, but he is not finished off. So once again, Prod is recoverable. BP and Study will go down, and they've got to deal with this man on the main stairs. Meanwhile, Prod has been revived, and he will likely not be peeking these floor holes any longer, anytime soon. It's now Gotcha taking up that position, and he's still got a Mozzie Pest, which we'll put on the main stairs. Orgless will get the first pick. Baring takes out Nova. There is a nade to follow up, so they do get a refrag. And another potential kill from Bone. No, the bars eat most of those shots. Can OCG accrue an advantage here? There's the 1 man. Now the next step is close it out.
Yeah, great nade there from Zoinkers. Really good use of all of this explosive utility. They've claimed 2 kills already and still have 1 frag grenade remaining. Exactly where they want to be. And a minute left is ample time to work with against only 3 players when you're on the precipice of this site already. It's just about making this one happen. Bone is going to be the first player to swing around the classical hall, but for now, tucked behind the main stairs shield. We're trying to gain any intel that's possible. Devil will join his teammate as he rotates up with the diffuser in hand, possibly playing for a game's execute, but first they'll have to get a wall open here in Study. Devil seems nervous about peeking around in Study, even though GXD is holding this coverage. Zoinkers as well, holding a player close. He knows that young Alec is there, but he just can't quite get the shots because young Alec is not giving him the opportunity. Thermite charge will go off successfully, so that's another opportunity for OCG to push into the site, but Orgless are just waiting for this execute, and they are waiting to collapse on this push. Young Alec, the patience we're seeing right now is great, but Zoinkers exhibiting the same patience right back. Prod lines up and gets 2. Young Alec, there's a third, says goodbye to Zoinkers. It's GXD left alive, but only 1 against 3 players, and Prod to finish it out. Going massive in the last 3 seconds. An unbelievable shot, lining up 2 people in essential collateral, will give Orgless a 7-3 win on Villa.
Prod needs to change his name off Prod.big to some other kind of hyperbole, because he is absolutely monumental right